So hi everybody, I am Jessica from CreateFuture. This is Nathan.
Hello.
And this is Dave.
Hello.
So we're 6 months in. It was our 6-month birthday last week. It was very exciting, and needless to say we went out and celebrated last week, so it was good. So just a very quick recap from me on what we were up to last week. We were busy writing and putting ourselves out there and being good marketeers for ourselves. So I just wanted to tell you about Nathan's article that he wrote on running Google Venture sprint process on campaign.
You can find on LinkedIn.
You can find on LinkedIn, and the article is called Be Bold, Be Brave, and we will be putting links underneath so you can read them afterwards. Dave did a talk actually at Figaro Digital Summit last week on being creative and how everybody has got it in them, even me, and how you can unlock talent in your teams. So there's a video, so we'll link to that as well. And I wrote about lessons that I've learned over the past 6 months when you're starting up and how to keep yourself sane. Some of it is reasonably obvious, like don't spend all your money. Some of it is a bit more subtle.
Which would have happened if Jessica hadn't been our managing director.
So I will also link to that underneath. So have a read.
Cool. Well, new stuff that I saw this week, nicely segues from Jessica. We get asked a lot about your content ratios and what stuff you should be putting out, and one of the most common traits we see is people putting out lots and lots of sales messages but not thinking from the customer side point of view what might be interesting for them to hear. The most common one certainly in social content is the 411, which is 4 pieces of content that are relevant from other people to your audience, 1 piece of content which is relevant for your audience that you have written, and then 1 sales message. The IPA recommends sort of 60% brand building and 40% sales driving, and you could sort of cut those in a similar way. But anyway, the news article that came out that was interesting was the IPA have come out and said that brands that use paid media are still seeing 3 times the growth of those that aren't, so in your mix. And that really shouldn't be anything too surprising. The more surprising thing, or the more interesting thing on it, is that it would appear that a lot of brands maybe have forgotten that a little bit. And so we've got guys like P&G who have said that they have, they're changing their strategy again. They went very, very narrow and very, very focused on content and Facebook, and then actually they're going to broaden back out again. So we're starting to see that yes, paid still has a huge amount of value for activating a brand and growing a brand, but that unless you have the owned and earned foundation, according to the IPA, you won't see as much uplift. So I'm looking at stats, but owned media increases paid effectiveness by 13%. So owned media is going to increase the money that you spend by 13%, and earned by 26%. So the nub of it is that getting the mix right is still exceptionally important.
One's going to feed the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep mine short because I feel like a complete Elon Musk fanboy, because a couple of weeks ago we talked about SpaceX, but I can't not mention the launch of the Tesla division's solar tiles, which were launched to kind of great fanfare this week. And if you've not seen them, essentially they are they're very traditional looking roof tiles that generate solar electricity and would not look out of place on pretty much any home with a pitched roof. A couple of really smart things about this. One, I think we know that we need to shift to solar, and there's a couple of things. They're very attractive. They look as nice as regular roof tiles. They're very functional. They're harder wearing than regular kind of like roof tiles, so you're getting a number of kind of product benefits over and above the fact that it's going to kind of generate energy. I think it's really smart, and the other is the scale. The cost of solar energy is still too high, but by getting things attractive and functional, you sell more, you bring the kind of cost down. And these are aimed at high earners initially, but because that scale will bring down the cost for everyone. He's building an ecosystem you know, with Tesla, you know, which is really unusual. You know, for Max, you know, you would buy the phone, the laptop, but you're talking about a couple of $100. You're talking about things that's significant investments, yet he's building an ecosystem of things which will cost tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So do you need one of the power
No, you don't.
blocks?
Well, you don't, but you will get more benefit if you have a power cell in your garage. If you have a power cell in your garage, you might be more inclined to have a Tesla. So you're building this kind of ecosystem of big ticket items, which is really smart. And the other thing is potentially, he's talked openly about, you know, your Tesla maybe generating money for you, you know, and moving something from being a cost to something that could generate profit for your family. You know, your Tesla being out driving and ferrying people around, you know, while you're not using it.
And I assume if your roof is making energy, then you can sell
it back to the grid, or you can sell it to your neighbours. Really smart. I a couple of years ago was reading, and again, I think this is maybe getting a bit grand, but I think it ties into kind of a bigger picture of just moving us away from kind of like fossil fuel energy reliance. Michio Kaku, physicist, references this thing, the Kardashev scale, about moving from a type 0 to a type 1 global civilization, and it's about being able to harness the energy of your neighbouring star. And you know, it's essential for enabling us to do what we want to do. And these little small steps as you move towards that.
The what scale?
Kardashev scale, 1967,
That
Russian
sounds
physicist.
Nice.
You're
There'll
just
be a
trying to
link.
look clever, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know much more than what's on Wikipedia, but it's fascinating. When you see these things kind of come together, it's very, very exciting. It's about what energy you need. Change needs energy. You know, and so the more energy we can kind of create, and the cheaper it is, you know, and more sustainable, the more it enables us to do, you know.
And I remember a couple of years ago reading an article, and this was long before all of this stuff, that the biggest challenge we have with the electric car is that until you reach parity between what's the best way to put this? You need to create a grid on the road.
Yeah.
So the energy that's in the cars needs to be equal, then that you're not using the energy from the existing grid during the day, now in the cars driving around the road and then charging at night. Think of it like your those heaters used to have, the storage heaters. It's exactly the same theory, and until they reach parity, the cost doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the more uplift you get of this stuff, then we'll eventually reach that nirvana.
Yeah.
But,
So a good week. Thanks for everyone who's stuck with us since we've been doing these for the last 6 months. And as ever, comments really appreciated.
And a big thank you to Danny, who does our videos every week. He's the man.